most powerful tool to change the world. And the personality who is today among us, his strength for education, research as well as innovation lies in his tenacity. Dr. Ajit Kumar Panda, a renowned personality who was an who is an IEEE ET distinguished lecturer, professor at NIST, Berhampur till February 2020 and was an academic for more than 25 years. He has many more publications as well as awards. However, since last year, Professor Panda was a part of a startup called Electronics Center of Excellence to provide consultant, training and research in 5G and its related areas. Today, Dr. Ajit Kumar Panda is going to deliver upon the topic RF system on chip for 5G applications. So without any further delay, I'd like to request Dr. Panda to initiate his talk upon the topic. Sir, please.
Yeah. Ashima, thanks. So nice of you again getting introduced by you. Good. Whenever Ashima talks, I feel how actually they are doing this PhD coursework. Good. So good to see
Sir.
you. Yeah. So thank you. Thanks, Sasan, for again inviting me. So I don't know actually really how to.
Good afternoon. Sir, good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What to speak and all that. But as few of you guys might have attended my earlier lecture also. So few things actually I'm trying to do it in last 1.5 years, and where actually I don't know. Therefore, anyone who wants to learn it or just see it, basically can plan for it also. And I don't know. It is not an innovative, but actually it is what actually the market is needing. The market needs it. So many of you guys may not like my talk, but that's the true fact actually, where actually we have to head it and what exactly the situation is that we can do it. Anyone can stop it at any time basically. I do not have much actually to speak it because always it is not a end solutions I am not giving you, but I'm trying to say you how actually it can be done it. So you can say that it is a path showing type, not a R&D type also, and what exactly we can do it or how we can do it so that we can get some end results type. End result. That's what actually the basics motto of the talk actually. Basics motto of the talk. And slightly during this corona and all that actually remains here they're busy, so maybe I don't know actually how actually to present it now also, because I'm very often not presenting now. Earlier it was good that presenting skills and all that. I think I'm losing it, so please bear with me for that. With that, as I told you again, let us consider it as a discussion type, and hence do not hesitate basically to interrupt and ask it actually. I don't mind it also if you say that no, it is wrong. So with that actually, can I share it? If you
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. So this is basically what actually the transceiver RF SoC. RF SoC means radio frequency system on chip actually. Radio frequency system on chip. And what is means a transceiver? It is the transmitter as well as the receiver basically. Transmitter is the receiver. And in all these cases, the ADC, analog to digital converter, and digital to analog converter, that are the main basic building blocks actually here. And all of you must have known it, right? And all of you are teaching it, most of you guys. I am fond of Gaikwad book. Gaikwad, I don't know what exactly you guys were teaching it. But if you look at, even the Gaikwad and all actually, the ADC, DAC, or let's say op-amp, actually, which you do it, its bandwidth, its bandwidth is maybe, maybe some kilohertz, right? Maybe some kilohertz time. And if you look at it's FL1 and FL2, basically low and high, it may go to, some around megahertz type. So megahertz type, Therefore, that ADC and DSC, which actually have the principle from the sampling rate, design it actually, that actually have the some kilohertz actually. But nowadays, with the advanced technology like that of the 5G, which actually the people are talking of, and which actually, if you are going through the papers or through the news, actually, you must have seen it. The 5G actually has been launched in India. 5G has launched as the trial test in India. Few companies actually have got it. The operators like Reliance, then the Airtel, they have got basically few specific locations where actually they can do the 5G test. So 5G is on test actually where actually initially the test will be there, and once the testing is finished actually, after that it may be launched it. So it is expecting that in the beginning of this 2022 actually 5G will be launched it. Similarly, BSNL. The BSNL has taken the 4G LTE actually. 4G LTE. BSNL, you must have known it, right? Up to 3G actually it was there. So BSNL, the 4G LTE is launching it actually at 100 different places all over India. 100 different places with a 40-watt micro actually, 40-watt micro base stations. It is launching. And all these actually, at high frequency actually, at high frequency. Therefore, first few minutes actually I will talk it, what is 5G, what is it, and how it is different than 4G, what it happened it, and then actually I will tell it what is the meaning of this transceiver and RF SoC, and where one can look for actually, and where one can look for and what exactly it should be. So I will talk on that actually. So anywhere if you go it, the 5G, when you say that, compared to that of the 4G, if you look it is 1,000 times actually, 1,000 times your mobile data volumes. Usually, 4G, usually in 4G or in 3G actually, the highest data rate I can get it, in a mobile, maybe that, 5 Mbps type, 2 to 3 actually, 2 to 3 5 Mbps I will get it. But in case of 5G, it is tested actually in the lab that we will get more than 5 gigabyte per second. More than 5 gigabyte per second, and in few cases, it is expecting that it will get more than 20 gigabyte per second. Therefore, you see, like that, what a text file we are downloading it. If we use the 5G internet, then that video, any video actually will be downloaded as if it is a general text type of things actually. Therefore, wherever you look for actually, it is something like this type, and hence, this is just a simple general things type. And 5G not only actually helpful only for the it is not only for the mobile connections, but exactly it is for all kind of cases also actually. Media, critical, let's say suppose this type of critical machines which needs the lot of communications, mining and all that actually, quick communication. There actually the 5G can be used it as a basic needs types actually. Quickly. Just 1 minute, I can close my video. So, yeah, so that's what. Then, the mobile communications, as I told you, started from 1980 with that actually, and go to the 4G, 5G in 2020 area. So 20 to 2030, basically, it will be the 5G area actually. And here, of course, there will be the LTE, 4G LTE and LTE advanced will be there. So what I'm saying that 20 to 30 actually it will be the 5G only. You must have seen that, right? The 5G mobiles have already come actually into the India market. For example, Samsung S131 is a 5G mobile, but unfortunately, and it is costing how much? It is costing around 87,000. It is available in the market, but unfortunately, the 5G network is not there. Therefore, it is not activated. But mobiles are available now in market. Okay, and this 5G, what actually the people are thinking, and the Qualcomm's vision is basically threefold. Actually, it is telling it. Qualcomm is the processors. Qualcomm is the main guy, who is giving the processors actually, who is giving the processors for the 5G communications technology and leading it actually. Of course, Xilinx is also there. Xilinx also providing the processors for these kind of purposes, but Qualcomm mainly dominating the market. So if you look at, enhanced mobile broadband, mission critical services and missions IoT, these are the few things actually the visions of the Qualcomm's on 5G. Usually we talk about this enhanced mobile broadband. And if we look at another one good things of this 5G is that, it has the license spectrum, shared license spectrum, and unlicensed spectrum. Unlicensed spectrums are also available. Nowadays, 3G, 4G, if you look at that is a license. Without the government permission, you cannot use it. But for unlicensed, there are the frequency band which actually you can use it without taking the permission from the government. And shared license spectrum. Shared license means IoT, interoperability test. The interoperability means the two different party can share the same spectrum. Now, let's say, for example, the Reliance has purchased the spectrum of 10 megahertz, then he only will use that particular 10 megahertz. But whereas in case of the 5G, government is given the license in such a way, Reliance can share that in the Airtel. That is what actually another one beauty of these 5G cases. So below 1 gigahertz, if you took it, 5G again, two parts. One is FR1, the other one is FR2. FR1 is below 6 gigahertz, FR2 is above 6 gigahertz. So below 1 gigahertz, basically, long range for basic IoT it is using 1 to 6 gigahertz, wider bandwidth for enhanced mobile broadband and mission critical services. What does it mean? This 1 to 6 gigahertz, it is called the FR1. Above 6 gigahertz, it is called the FR2. Millimeter wave, extreme bandwidth and all that, leave it. And this is the frequency band which actually we consider it, leave it for that actually. And these are the 5G frequency band actually, which are available. I will show you, why I'm showing it also, I will tell you actually. These are the frequency band which actually are using it for the 5G cases. In India, basically, the people have started it using the 3.3 to 3.8 actually. That is called the N78 band. N78 band license, India government has given it basically to test it. And therefore, many these operators, Airtel, BSNL, as well as, Sterlite, these guys are doing it from 3.3 to 3.8. And most of them actually using the 3.3 to 3.6 gigahertz, some 300 megahertz instantaneous bandwidth, and basically occupied bandwidth, they are taking it to be the 100 megahertz type. However, these 24 and above 6 gigahertz actually also few companies are using it not in India, outside India. And as I told you, this is two cases actually. This 5G new radio, which is called as actually 5G new radio sub 6 gigahertz, where actually as I say, 3.4 to 3.6 you can use it, and 5G new radio millimeter wave. This millimeter wave is using for some other purposes, not for the telecommunications purposes type, and has not matured properly actually, whereas sub 6 gigahertz actually is totally mature, and the people have started using it in other countries, and India is starting it. So you see it, spectrum allocations or all that I am not into. So few people always tell it, implication millimeter wave, leave it also, what is the implications and all that. Few of the things which actually different than that of the 4G cases. In case of the 5G actually, there is a missive MIMO. Missive MIMO means actually multiple input, multiple output. And here, antenna actually the beamform. The beamform, one exactly I'm trying to show you. This is what actually the beam I'm looking for. This is what actually the beam. And in this case, what actually the beauty is that your antenna pattern or antenna beam will move actually on the directions where actually you are moving it. That kind of information actually or architecture is available in case of the 5G. What does it mean? But not that, 360-degree beam, I am not telling that. A particular beam actually, which you tell it. Now what it happened when we are moving it and all that, we cannot. And that is another one thing. Second thing is, wherever there is a larger density, the larger beam will be formed there. So from the receiver end, actually the data will be collected, how much people are there, how much people is using it. Based on that, the It will give the information to the processor, and processor will instruct accordingly, so that this antenna will radiate at the particular directions. That is called the active antenna or antenna beam. That is called the massive MIMO beam, and that beam architecture is there in case of the 5G, even in mobile cases also. Even in 5G mobile also, the beam architecture is there, which actually is not there in the 4G or 3G cases. But there are a lot of other issues also, and compared to that of other cases, in this case, the so-called, base station, what actually we call it, which actually you put it at the height of some 100 meter, 200 meter. Instead of that, actually, these base stations, is of 2 kg, 1 kg, and size is around 165, 180 millimeter, which actually will cover only 200 people. And that can be put on it in a plant. Therefore, when you take that kind of things, basically, challenges are there, blockage will be there. Different blockage will be there. Even if you put the hand also, the architecture, the beam which you formed it, that may be blocked it. Therefore, a lot of challenges are there. I told you the good things, but the challenges are there. And that challenges you have to consider it actually. Diversity is there, because it is in MIMO cases, therefore diversity will be there, which actually we consider the receiver sensitivity. In this case, it will be different. Receiver sensitivity of 4 channel you have to take it, or 8 channel you have to take it. So, and the different blockages are there, and how actually it have to be taken care into. Another one important thing is the power consumptions. So any basically, any circuit, if you look at, or base stations, if you look at, you need a baseband processing, which actually the digital one, that actually connected with a analog to digital receiver side, basically I'm telling. ADC, there will be an RF chain, there will be an LNA. So just I'm giving you the receiver side. The receiver side, if you do it, let's say suppose you take it like this, and if you calculate it actually, power consumed by a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi with a 20 megahertz bandwidth is around 120 milliwatt. Whereas, for the same actually, if I take a 4x4 channel, the 5G, then power consumed will be 2 watt. What does it mean? Here, in case of 5G, I will be considering around 2000 milliwatt, whereas, in case of the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi cases, I am consuming a 120 milliwatt. Therefore, 10 to 12 times more power actually I am consuming in case of the 5G. That's the bigger challenge actually. That is the biggest challenge, and how actually it will be reduce it. That reduce, particularly, you have to do it in the RF chain, and in the baseband side, you have the SOC, that RF SOC of the transceiver. That transceiver actually plays the major role. So, different ways are there to reduce the power, basically. Hybrid architecture of antenna, I can take the baseband processing, different resolutions. Like that, actually, different techniques are there. I'm not interested on that actually in this talk. What I'm interested, 5G base stations are available now, so I'm not talking on that actually. I will go directly. Different people have given the solutions and all that, I'm not going for that. And this is how actually the beam formed, all that I'm not going for the time being. But now, coming back to the point actually, if you look at, this is what actually a base station systems actually. Base station system. What does it mean? It means that you need a baseband where you will have the RAM, where you will have the SIM card, where you will have the speaker, where you have the mic, everything actually. Then you have the power supply unit. You will have the power supply unit. That power supply unit basically connected with the battery, let's say. So what it means, this gives you the digital one. If you're able to see my mouse, this baseband and RAM, this basically gives the digital one. Now that digital data where actually act as the CU and DU, means core unit as well as the distributed unit of the network. That actually will be connected with a transceiver. This transceiver contains mostly an ADC and DSC, apart from all others. I will show you. So this RF transceiver basically plays a major role basically to connect with this RF front end. RF front end I showed you, right? This one what actually I showed you, the RF front end. This RF front end basically controlled through this baseband processing by a transceiver. I think now you understand it why I'm talking about this. And this transceiver, compared to that of the earlier cases, at the kilohertz type actually, now it is the megahertz type. So those who have done the communication courses, basically, you know it. We use the IQ architecture, zero architecture. Here actually, all that I don't needed it, all that don't needed it, no mixers, nothing actually needed it, and RF transceiver itself will have everything actually. The mixer, the combiner, everything will be there in the RF transceiver, and that actually will connect with the RF front end. RF front end. So if I show you like this actually, this is what actually a basically the systems, basic systems, which actually will have a this type of processor. Yeah, chai de do yaar. Thank you. This is the processor. I have taken the Xilinx processor actually. This processor, what I showed you, this baseband and RAM processor. This is basically I have taken a Xilinx processor. This is basically XCZU19EG, and here actually there will be connector, DRAM, there will be the NOR class, there's a master SPI and all that, the microcontroller, EPROM, then the SPIs, then basically the filer and all that. This part actually we usually call it as the digital board. If you look at this green one, what actually I am taking it it will be in the digital board. This actually directly connected with the DUR RU. Depending upon what kind of architecture I am using it, if I am using a 7.2 split, then actually this processor, this transceiver also go into this digital board. Otherwise, the transceiver will be in the RF board. That is depending upon. I will show you the two cases. This is one practical cases. Basically, I am trying to show you, and this is one in the Texas processor, the RF transceiver, and this is a AFC 7920. It is from the Texas Instruments. Like that, there are other actually transceivers like ADRV 9025, Texas, as I told you, AF 7920, JDU49DR, JDU47DR, all that are actually Xilinx board. So in case of this, I'm not interested on this digital board. I'm not interested in this lecture, of this RF front-end part. RF front-end part, digital board connected with the AFE7920. That is what actually I would like to show you. And how actually, what are that actually, I will try to show you that part. So leave it slightly here, there I'm going here. Okay, this actually will be connected with the antenna. This actually will be connected with the antenna with the band pass filter and all that. So this is what actually I am showing on antenna. So leave it, antenna part. So what actually I want to say you, I cannot do all that together. Therefore, can I consider this RF transceiver and can I do design or can I do R&D basically? That is what actually my point is and where actually we are now focused in. So those few of you guys who have actually heard my earlier lecture actually, I might have told this part actually, this RF front-end part actually, and how to design it, RF front-end part. And in another 1 or 2 lecture, I might have shown you how to do this antenna, how to design this antenna. And now in this lecture, actually, I'm trying to focus only on this RF transceiver or your general transceiver. Okay. So any questions on this?
No, sir. No, sir.
If any question? Okay. Thanks. So what is why I need it actually? Why to work on this 5G RFIC? Few of you guys might be thinking it, No doubt all that, different causes and all that. Money is there. Anywhere, you can talk about this. 1.5 to 2.2 trillion money is there on this one actually. Therefore, let us focus on that actually. So, as I told you, what is it needed basically, and what exactly you have to know it instead of going in details. Details. Let's say for a small cell outdoor forward at the antenna connector, if I'm trying to do it, and if I'm using, this ADRV 9025, this is an ADI one. I was showing you here one, here I was showing you the Texas one. Here I'm trying to show you a ADRV, means ADI one. what actually you need it, if you guys are doing many of you guys may, concentrating on the design of the ADC or DSC, there actually you have to see, apart from all of the things I will show you, it is connected, in this RF transceiver, there is an ADC and there is a DSC. Now, why it is important, if I do the RF front end also, or to do this link budget of this RF front end, I must have to know slightly in details of this this transceiver. Like what actually, I must have to know what is the maximum output power actually I am getting it from the transceiver. What is the carrier leakage values actually I am getting, and what kind of EVM value I am getting it. Let's say it is going from digital to analog, what kind of error vector magnitude I am getting it. That I must have to know it. Then only actually I can connect it with the RF front end. Similarly, from RF front end actually, some signal actually come back to the ADC, that is to the transceiver, that is called the observation path. In observation path, what is the full scale? That actually I should know it. Therefore, my point of saying, instead of thinking that I will go design an IC and all that, which actually we think it, we must understand it properly. We must go through the, let's say, data sheet of this ADRV 9025 type 2-3 times before actually I think it to design an ADC or DSC. That's what only I want to say it here. Well, few of you guys are planning to do that, and in that case, you need it actually. Similarly, in ADC, when it is going from analog to digital type, means analog to digital, fundamentally, whether it is going it at the first modulations, means first AMD, second AMD, or third AMD, intermodulation. What kind of intermodulation I am getting it? In what kind of next zone actually my signal is entering to the RF SoC before going to the baseband processor. So this is an interesting area where actually, therefore, I have, I'm trying for last few months actually to work on this transceiver, because we did it, this part, this RF front end, and saw that, if we miss 1 or 2 points on this transceiver part, actually, this part we cannot go in. Therefore, this part actually, I'm trying to say to you guys, those who are planning to go for this radio communications, 5G type of things, transceiver is one of the part actually which you should concentrate and focus on that actually. That I show you, in a 4-watt case. In case of 40-watt case, let's say, in case of 40-watt case, it means that, at antenna output, I need a 40-watt part, 40-watt one. Therefore, what actually, again, the values I should get it here, so that what kind of this RF front end line, why it is needed it, either this case or these cases, because let's say suppose, I am getting my output value, I am getting, let's say suppose, at this transmitter input, let's say suppose I am getting a minus 5 dB. My 4 watt means around 36 dBm. I have a minus 4 dBm. I want to get a 36 dBm. Therefore, my transmitting path, actually what kind of power amplifier I will use it, what kind of pre-power amplifier I will use it, what kind of driver amplifier I will use it, what kind of band pass filter I will use it, that actually I have to decide it. That is basically called as the link budget, right? Therefore, it is not that, just RF front end I will design it. To design an RF front end, I must know what kind of input, output I am getting it, what kind of sampling it is doing it, that actually I must have to know it. So this is one example I gave you for the 4 watt. The another one is for the 40 watt actually I would like to give it. In case of the 40 watt, the same cost of things basically. Okay. Then LNA switch and all that I am not talking on that. Outdoor and all that I am not talking about. Why it is necessary again? Why all these are necessary again? Or why I have to know in details of this one and how to make it type? Basically, you need, see, before it goes to the market, actually, you have to test it. You have to test it basically. And whether your design is correct or not, that you have to test it. Now, when you talk about the test, it is called the radio conformance test actually. Radio conformance test. And in that radio conformance test, if you go in, this is what actually, as I told you, 5G FR1. So to go for this test, there is standard actually. The standard you have to follow it. And what are the standard? The standard is nowadays, call it as the 3GPP. This is an international standard, and that international standard you have to follow it. And just, I want to design a transceiver. Has no meaning actually without knowing all this. So you must have to know it. Let's say, suppose, RX system, receiver side chip I am talking to it. Let's say. So what are the requirement? What actually I have to know it? The requirement for an RF specifications basically are defined in terms of the your FR1 or FR2 first. Let's say, suppose I am taking the FR1, as I told you, up to 6 gigahertz, or which actually I will call it as the sub 6 gigahertz. Then in that case, actually, I have to find out what frequency bands I will be using it. As I gave you one example, as I give you one example, N78 band. N78 band means it will be from 3.3 to 3.8 gigahertz. Based on that, actually, my RF transceiver will be decided. Based on that, my RF transmitter will be decided. Let's say, suppose, why it is necessary, as I told you, I want to get a RF sensitivity of minus 100 dBm with a 5 megahertz bandwidth, or let's say, suppose, minus 85.7 dBm for 100 megahertz bandwidth. It means that, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Basically, I will give you on this one. I will put a minus 100 dBm. My antenna will receive a signal of minus 100 dBm. And that actually should be able to detect it by this RF transceiver at this one. So here I will give it, the signal will come through all the paths, whatever it may be. And here, let's say, suppose I have used one LNA or a two-stage LNA, let's say, suppose it is a gain of 30 and 30. So minus 30, minus 100, I put it. Here I put it 30 plus 30, 60. So I will get here a minus 40 with a band pass filter balloon and all that, let's say some loss is there, let's say 5 dB. Then I will get an input of minus 45 dBm at this transceiver input. Now, I must have to know it, whether my transceiver can able to detect a minus 45 dBm or not. Then only I can get a receiver sensitivity of minus 100 dBm and I can able to detect it. That basically define also the range up to which the mobile is working. The so-called what we are talking it, I am not able to get the signal, that is basically the receiver sensitivity. It will be both receiver sensitivity of the base station as well as that of the receiver sensitivity of the your mobile. So I'm talking it in terms of the base station in these cases. So this basically called the uplink. During this uplink, if my value, if I can able to, for example, in this case, my ADC maximum full scale input power at 3.8 gigahertz minus 12 dBm. What does it mean? It means that I can able to detect up to minus 12 dBm at the input of this transceiver. Therefore, I must have my chain minus 12 dBm. It means, and here actually I have a minus 100 dBm. Therefore, at least in this chain, I need a gain of 88 dBm. At least, if I keep a margin, let's say of 2 or 3 dBm, then actually, I need at least a 90 dBm gain. Then only I can have the, I can able to detect it. That is what actually, that is why one must have to know in details of the RF transceiver. Okay. So based on that, actually, this is what example I am giving it. And as I told you, maximum input power, and all these actually depends upon what kind of channel bandwidth you are using it. Now, the government has given, up to 100 megahertz bandwidth for India, 3.3 to 3.8. Instantaneous bandwidth, you can take it up to 200 megahertz, and channel bandwidth or occupant bandwidth, you can take it up to 100 megahertz, 200 and 100. So, depending upon that, actually. This is the importance of the RF transceiver. And of course, as I told you, Nyquist, you have to see at which Nyquist actually it is coming in. That actually depending upon your IMD, what kind of intermodulation signal actually it is depending upon. Therefore, for this particular purpose, let's say, intermodal product should be less than minus 29 dBc, and interference your CW signal, let's say minus 40 dBc, at offsets of, let's say, bandwidth or 2 bandwidth types, basically, in this case. Are you going? You're here now? Yeah, just give me half an hour after that. Sorry. Yeah. So intermodulation product. So it depends upon that actually. It depends upon that, and based on that actually, you have to define the transceiver. Therefore, those who are planning actually ADC and DSC, let us make it an objective. For what purpose actually you want to design it, why you will design it, and after that actually, I am telling you, the design will be easy on if I understand the properly for what purpose actually I am using it. And as I told you, this 3GPP frequency bandwidth. So what kind of RF transceiver I will use it, that again is depending upon this frequency band actually, frequency band, at which one I will be using it. Then whether I will be using it a FDD or a TDD. FDD means frequency division duplexers, time division duplexers basically. In case of the TDD, either my transmitting channel or receiving channel will work. Whereas in case of the FDD, transmitting and receiving happen it at the same time. Therefore, at that time, this intermodulation product will be playing the major role. And at that time, I must have to choose this transceiver in such a way that this IMD will be able to, or I must have the filter inside this ADRV in such a way that all these intermodulation product basically can be able to filter it. Then only I can get a proper signal, which actually can be go to the baseband, and baseband can able to reconstruct the signal. Otherwise, there will be the issues. Otherwise, there will be issues. That is the importance of the transceiver. Then this blockage and all that will be there, no doubt on that actually. I'm not talking on this intermodulation product, as I told you, I'm not talking on that also. To do that actually, you need the filter inside this. What are the parts you need it inside? Because for that actually I'm showing one or two example I'm giving it, and after that actually maybe that we'll go for that. But as I told you again, the receiver specifications. Why actually I will use a transceiver, and which transceiver I will use it, whether I will use a 0F architecture transceiver or RF SoC architecture, all that actually depends upon this 3GPP band which I'm using it, and what purposes I am using it, and which frequency band I am using. Based on that actually I will see and I will decide it whether these transceivers what I showed to you, let's say 3 transceiver I'm trying to show you. One is from the Texas, another one from the ADRV, there is ADI, and third one basically I'm showing you from the Xilinx. Out of these 3, which one I will choose it? It will depend upon that also. So this is a standard formula, RF transceiver. Then so that actually how actually you will calculate the IM modulation and how actually it will be removed it in the transceiver. I must have to know it. Based on that actually my filter inside the transceiver, if I have to take it like that and I have to design it. Why I'm telling all that actually, if you remember it, or some of you guys might have seen my earlier lecture actually in somewhere, that we have tried to design it. So in that case, what we have done it, we have taken a standard ADC. We have designed a filter and we have fabricated it also. But that is true, that is okay for prototype type. But now this, when I say that prototype I'm using it, it hardly matter actually. Until and unless I could able to make it and do it and product it actually. Therefore, doing a prototype academics will be totally different than that of the industry. And my appeal to all these academicians, can we think about that to make it a product type which actually can be used by the industry? Okay. So any questions? 1 or 2 questions I would like to take it before going to the next step actually. If you guys feel it. Anyone have a question or no?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, actually, I've already remembered that Akshay Kumar one movie 2.0, that 4G effect is coming from the cell phone, whatever the ray passing, and that affects on the environment of the bird. So now the 5G concept of the that effect is going to on the environment or in the bird or in animals. Is there anything, or it is already checked in the lab? That's the question in my mind.
Okay, great. Are you following the news or no?
Yes, yes, somewhat.
You're following now. Juhi Chawla had sent a Juhi Chawla. You know,
Yeah, yes, yeah,
Juhi
ma'am.
Chawla filed a case, right?
Yeah.
And what is the answer? She got it from the Supreme Court. I think you know it.
Uh,
That part you might have not known it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
might like, I don't know, you like Juhi Chawla or not, but Juhi Chawla had filed a case in Supreme Court, and he got a proper bamboo from the Supreme Court
Yeah.
without knowing and based on what actually you file the case, and the case immediately dismissed by the Supreme Court. See, as I told you, no, good questions, good basically what you are telling it. But as I told you, I will show you. Anything what you do it, there is a effect and side effect actually, no doubt on that. I take the BP medicine. I don't know. I take the BP medicine. If you take the BP medicine, there is a side effect. If you take let's say, the cold or cough, for that actually, if you are taking some cetirizine, there is a side effect. If you take the cetirizine, continuously for a small cold also for long time, then people say that there will be the कुछ बोलते हैं ना कि पेट में कुछ हो जाएगा, स्टोन विल डेवलप इट बोलते हैं, आई डोंट नो करेक्ट और नॉट, तो स्टोन हो जाता है कि नहीं? तो उसका मतलब मेडिसिन खाएंगे या नहीं, बताओ?
खाएंगे, बिल्कुल खाएंगे सर.
बिल्कुल
But you have to.
खाएंगे. Therefore, to eat that medicines basically, कितना डोज का हो सकता है? स्लीपिंग टेबलेट आई विल टेक इट, but what is the dose? There is a precision, there is a standard, and I must have to follow the standard. I must have to follow that standard. समझे कि नहीं? And if
Yes,
I don't follow the standard actually, then you may get to the jail also. Therefore, all over the world actually, because for this type of things actually, this 3GPP standard is there. 3GPP standard, this is the world body basically. It is called the 3G public-private partnership. This is actually, don't confuse the people why they are not calling 5GPP type, but standard name is there 3GPP. It says that, let's say suppose here my macro means outside, if I'm doing it, I can use up to 40 watt radiation. I can do the 40 watt radiation. I cannot do more than that actually. Similarly, if I'm doing, let's say internally, let's say suppose, in your office floor, then you cannot radiate more than 4 watt power. You cannot radiate more than 4 watt power. If more than 4 watt power you are radiating, then actually you will be, and if you caught it, you will go to, I don't know whether you will go to jail or what, I don't know. I don't know that. Therefore, any operator, or not any operator always want, to radiate more power. Because if I radiate more power, it will cover more distance, it will cover more people, I will earn more money. Therefore, always they want it. But there is standard. And for that, actually, you have to go for FCC certification. FCC certification. What is that FCC certification? That is given by the Government of India of the telecom. That is the telecom regulatory body. So any product which actually you do it, that first you have to take it into the FCC certified lab. There are few standard FCC certified lab in country. You have to take that and you have to get certified from that. After that only you can use it. Therefore, it has the limitations. It has the limitation. Therefore, each actually there are standard, and hence you have this 3GPP standard. 3GPP standard. I don't know. I have one or two examples. If I have, I can show you one example here also. I can show you. Let's say suppose here you transmit the signal. You have transmitted the signal. How quickly actually your signal should reduce it and at what frequency actually it will reduce to zero. That actually standard is there. Therefore, what I told you, this 3GPP, there are some 29 for the 5G cases, there are 29 test cases, which actually you have to do it conductive test cases. And that if you go through, 3GPP document, there is chapter 6 and chapter 7. Chapter 6 is for the transmitter case and chapter 7 is for the receiver cases. In receiving side, there are 18 cases. What will be my output power? Now, not only output power, what will be my output power dynamic range? कितना मैं minimum करूँगा, कितना maximum करूँगा? That is also defined it actually. And what is my blocking values? How much actually I can able to block it? How much I can able to give it? Then what should be my adjacent channel leakage ratio? ऐसा नहीं कि what actually I can do it, I will do it. And I will say that I am using it for the 3.3 to 3.8 and I will put a higher value of adjacent channel leakage ratio. Then what will happen is my signal will leak it into the other frequency band. And therefore, instead of, it is covering to 10 people, it may cover to 12 people. Therefore, standard is there. What should be my adjacent channel leakage ratio? I have to fulfill it. It has to be passed. It has to pass it. It has to pass it. And the standards is given it. And these 29 test cases, you have to pass it before you use it. And hence, as I told you, there is the effect, there are side effects in all cases. In this case also there. But you have to follow the standards, what actually it is given it. Okay?
Yes, sir, got it, sir.
Yeah,
That is
so-
by the Federal Communication Commission that already
Yes.
and a
Yes.
particular standard. Yeah.
That I told you, this FCC. FCC
Yeah, yeah.
standard rules are there.
Yes, yes.
You have to follow them. And you have to get the certificate from them actually. If your product you want to use it. Without that certification, if you are using it, then there is a probability, you will be caught. You will be caught. And at that time, it will be an issue for you. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Any other question? Or otherwise, I will try to show you the other architecture. So in this particular cases, as I told you, the gone, this standard ADC, what actually we are using it and architecture, what actually given it in the Gaikwad book actually. Gaikwad book. If I follow that, basically it has changed, the left and right actually. And it is something like this type actually. RFIC, zero IF architecture, it is called zero IF architecture. They are actually in a SOC, in a transceiver actually, these are the different components it is there. Different components are there. You will have an LNA, you will have a TCA, then TIA, then the filter, then the ADC, then the DSC. And when we talk about the transceiver, usually we call it about the ADC and DSC actually, ADC and DSC. But if you look it here, in this particular cases, this RFIC zero IF architecture here, you will have the IQ channel. Inside that actually there will be the IQ channel, which actually call it the, if you remember it, in our general communications, we give I in one port, the Q at other port, and both actually we do it, and we put it in a mixer. And that mixer actually is in a separate one. Unfortunately, the diagram I could not draw it. Otherwise, it would have been good to show it actually. How actually in the books we have read it, and how this transceiver architecture will be different. So if you look at, this IQ channel or the mixer is inside the ADC. हमने जिसको ADC नहीं बोलते, सिर्फ ADC, DSC बोलते, actually that the transceiver. ADC, DSC if you can do it, but it has of no use actually, no use. That may be used for the other purposes, but for this particular purpose, as for 5G cases type, it will not be there. Just give me 5 minutes, I will call you. Okay. So that is what actually difference is. Now, if you look at after ADC, so when I go it from this side, inside that actually there is the band pass filter before the ADC. Similarly, band pass filter before the DAC. That is the zero IF architecture, where you have the mixer. So you see, or the signal it comes in, it will go it like this. This will be a mixture. This will be an amplifier. Then there will be a band pass filter. From this amplifier, actually, 2-port it will be. It will go one to I channel and one to the Q channel, like that actually. And this architecture basically we use it. It is called the RFIC 0IF architecture transceiver. 0IF architecture transceiver, its sampling rate can go up to 1 gigahertz. Its sampling rate can go up to 1 gigahertz. This is also good if I use it. So here what I showed you, this AFT 7920, it uses the 0IF architecture. The one, I don't know, I showed you or not, the ADRV also is the 0IF architecture, but I had shown you, right, Xilinx JDU47DR. The JDU47DR is not a 0IF architecture. The mixer, what actually I told you here, this mixer actually is there in 0IF architecture inside the baseband processor. That's the basic difference between a 0IF architecture transceiver and a RF SoC transceiver. So 0IF receiver gain and dynamic range, actually you can calculate it, put it some things like this type, and how actually it is there, mixer is there here actually, and then from there it goes to the ADC, mixer, IQ channels and all that. Similarly, you have to check for the phase noise and all that in case of the 0IF architecture. Or the phase noise and all that actually done it by these different components. PLL, the job of that, DCX, or the job of that actually. So we actually are planning to have this transceiver architecture. I will show you where we are actually and why we did it. Yeah, inside that, if I look for a 0IF architecture transceiver, then what are the things it is there? I have given it basically. Its characteristics also I have given it. For example, baseband filter, what actually it is there. Inside that actually it has a 6th order Chebyshev filter, and it implements a 3 second order backward sections and filter is there. There is an AGC, automatic gain control is there. Inside this, there is an automatic gain control also, an AGC is there. And what will be the AGC value? For example, ADRV 9025, its AGC value is 18 dB. It can give a gain of 18 dB. Therefore, if I get a signal of, let's say, minus 40 dB at the transceiver output or transceiver input, then it will gain 18 dB. Therefore, my baseband processor will get an input value of minus 22 dB. And filter cutoff program between the 5 MHz to 100 MHz. In this case, as I told you, sampling rate maximum I can take it out to the 1 GHz. There is no doubt an LNA inside that, and its noise figure and all that are there, and its transconductance region. There will be the mixer. There is a passive current mode, IQ mixers is there, AGC and the current and all that are there. In case of the FR1 0IF architecture. Apart from these, these are the other components which are there, and hence if I want to design it, this total transceiver, all these things I have to take it into account, and hence my suggestions basically is, instead of I don't know, few of you guys may like it, few may not like it. Instead of actually, instead of going for an IC design of these whole things, my view is, can I choose the proper transceiver and can I do something like this, system on the board. You might think that, I'm discouraging to you to design the IC. Maybe that, the Shashank will get angry with me, but this is what actually, if I can able to do it, I can get a clear cut, immediately production level solution. No doubt, let the company like, this Texas and all that do it for me, but this I can do it easily. I need just a PCB or a ORCAD kind of PCB kind of tool, and I can able to do it. And this transceiver choosing is actually one of the best things which actually I should do it, instead of going to do one by part. And otherwise also, if I go for that, I must do this ADC in such a way that it will be the world class. Therefore, my view slightly changing Sorry that I'm putting my view, but that is what actually I'm looking for. If we can able to do these kind of things, actually, the students will able to understand it, know it properly and quickly, and they will be the industry ready. Then, asking them to go for an IC design, no doubt it is necessary, which actually we are not able to do it in the lab, at least in India. So outside the country, let's say US, in one semester they do at least one IC. That is the compulsory in the course. So their cases it is different. For our cases, basically, I want to go on the system level board architecture, than that of the IC level architecture. So if I want to go with my theory, then basically, this architecture, then I must have to understand it in this transceiver. What is LNA? What is my baseband filter? What is my ADC and decimation filter? Transconductance, mixture, amplifier. Then the PLN, voltage control oscillator, feedback divider. What is my loop filter? Then digital oscilloscope, again clock, output divider, and your clock generations one, basically. This is how actually the needed for this RF IC 0 IF architecture. Whereas, in this case, RF sampling case, as you see, what is the difference? If you see this one and this one, if you see here, actually, my mixer is inside this 0 IF architecture. Whereas, in this case, if I see my mixer is in the another one separate digital block, DSP block. Therefore, my IQ signal generator, IQ signal mixture with a non-control oscillator, this actually do it in baseband. Whereas my transceiver will have this ADC, DSC, PLL, digital control oscillator, a band pass filter, and LNAPA, whatever it may be. That is the basic difference basically on the RFIC or RF SoC and RF 0 architecture. This one. This one is more complicated. It will operate, as I told you, the sampling rate maximum I can take it up to 1 gigahertz type. Whereas, in this case, my sampling rate can go up to 5 gigahertz. 5 gigahertz sampling rate. Therefore, when sampling rate I take it up to 5 gigahertz, my output value basically for, let's say, suppose when I'm taking it to 3.3 to 3.8, then I don't need any other mixer or anything, and directly I can use it actually. Directly I can use it. That is why many people basically are going for the RF SoC nowadays compared to that of the 0 IF architecture SoC. That's the basic difference, and this basic difference gives a lot of difference between the RF, between the transceiver and use it in 5G cases. In this case, as I told you, the scope is basically again, no doubt on, you must have to know or understand it, what is a wideband LNA, because as I told you, in this case, you see, it will have a 5 gigahertz type or 1 gigahertz type. Therefore, this LNA, which I am using it, that must be very wide band. Inside that, wide band in the sense, it must be up to bandwidth of 5 megahertz, 5 gigahertz. Then only actually I can use this directly. Otherwise, what usually we do it? In this case, what we do it? Otherwise, in this case, if my LNA value is less also, then this mixer basically mix it with a large frequency. I don't know what exactly that frequency you are calling it nowadays. And it gives a high frequency. It makes a high frequency. Whereas here I don't need it. Here I don't need it. Directly I will do it, the sampling. And hence this LNA which I am using it must be of the wide band. And no doubt a wide band passband filter is necessary. Then your sampling ADC and all that you can do it. And you can get it, the transceiver and all that you can do it. So these type of things actually many of you guys might be doing it as a ADS you might have, or you might have something, Cadence, AWR type of tools, which actually you can use it. Now, are you interested on these type of things? Which one? So, I am interested when I go for the IC cases, instead of pushing this, basically I will prefer to go for this RF SoC. Because here my work will be less compared to that of the RF IF zero architecture. And why it is possible? This is possible because my CMOS technology has improved tremendously. Now coming back to the IC, my CMOS technology has improved and I can able to make at 18.12 micron technology, which actually earlier I was not able to do it. Therefore, the complicated things like mixers and all that I can remove it and I can make the ADC myself with a very high sampling rate, with a very high sampling. And if I would like to do it, then naturally, I need the cadence shoots, the Virtuoso Spectre or ADE type one, Spectre ADF, and some things, some simulators and all that I may need it, other one. And I can use the Agilent ADS type of tool. Agilent ADS type of tool for the system level architecture first to do it, then to the RF IC to make it. So, as I told you, these are the sampling architecture. Inside the RF sampling, what are the things actually you should take it. Okay. Then difference between the zero IF architecture and RF sampling architecture. As I told you, it has a relaxed ADC sampling rate, but here actually you eliminate GM and mixer, wider bandwidth enable ADC, whereas here the dynamic range is very small actually, this ADC what actually uses. No image band filtering required. Here actually the eliminate the IQ mismatch and TX LO leakage. LO leakage means local oscillators leakage basically. Because here I am not using a local oscillator. Mixture I am using it through the digital mixture. That's the basics difference, and hence RF sampling architecture has advantage. RF sampling transceiver we have a lot of advantage than that of the zero IF transceiver. And reduce the PLL design complexity in terms of frequency range and step size also. There are few advantage of the RF SoC compared to that of the zero IF architecture. Then challenges. What are the challenges basically? DC offset, 1 by F noise, basically has to be taken very, very, very carefully. Gain and phase mismatch between the I and Q chains causes IMMR, intermodulation rejection ratio. That's the important in this case of your RF sampling cases. Okay, so anyway, people are preferring to the RF SoC compared to that of the zero IF architecture now. Therefore, those who are actually interested, one or two slides here there, huh? Oh. Okay. With this actually, what my next step actually, we are thinking it, can we make a RF SoC? Now, if I do only the RF SoC, RF SoC, and in this structure, what I show you, RF SoC, with that of this, let's say suppose the LNA externally. But if I can able to make this RF SoC with a PA and with a LNA, with a switch, then actually, it will be a fantastic work, which actually the industry will be interested. So leave it. But as I told you, this is available nowadays. In few cases actually, gallium nitride, even in gallium nitride cases also, a power amplifier, high power amplifier, a circulator, a limiter, a gallium arsenide LNA. That actually can read into a attenuator, a phase shifter, a switch, a high power amplifier, an LNA, and a switch. This part actually is available nowadays in the market. These, along with, if I can able to take the transceiver and if I can able to make an IC, actually this will be first of its kind type in R&D, you can say, or in industry, you can say. So that is one of my aim basically. If I can able to make it, basically, if we can able to do it together, keeping all that together, actually, if I can able to make it. That is what actually now we are thinking. Leave it, give the whole stations basically. where it will be used it in the 5G base stations and all that. Actually it will be used, and it will have a lot of advantage and it will have a lot of market values also. And if we can able to train to the students in this line, basically can do a training type to this kind of students basically, then this is my one of the old style actually, which I was thinking, but it is now I'm doing it at the ECOE, the so-called our small startup, which actually we are thinking it. So front-end transceiver PA LNA integrated with the circulator using the gallium nitride technology or the gallium arsenide technology. Can we able to make it an IC? So on that actually we are working it. For that actually we are using initially the ADS simulator. ADS simulator system level architecture it will give it, and after that actually few company actually has shown the interest on this, and we have given the proposal to them actually through the ECOE, and for that actually we are looking for actually if some industry will be interested on this basically to be the partner with us and fund us actually. Then actually we can we will try to make this IC together. So two way basically I told you for the RF transceiver. Can I make an integrated RF transceiver from the physical design layer? One point. Second point is, if I cannot, can we use the RF SoC myself, and can I able to make a board? RF board basically I can make it so that immediately the students can able to use it. I showed you the complicated one, but to the students, the simple, you can take it, all these parts actually, you take all the parts, put it in a breadboard and try to show it or ask them to measure it and see the results or analyze it. Then actually it will be interesting one. Therefore, here we are working it, but let's see, how actually it will be. So this is what actually I want to challenge. So challenge will be there, so all that you leave it. This is what actually I would like to tell you. So I think I will stop it here, and if anyone has any questions, let me, otherwise, thanks. Yeah. Hello. Any questions?
Thank you very much, sir. Any questions from participants?
Yeah, any questions basically would like to have. And this is what my office is now. So instead of becoming, as some of you guys are telling it, so trying to do it by ourselves, and what actually Osima introduced as the startup basically, trying to do it. No doubt we have actually, partnered with few companies. In the meantime, we have partnered with few companies, and for them actually we are doing this kind of work. So all this basically is not mine. It is basically our collaborator industries actually the things. And
सर नमस्कार.
नमस्कार सर. नमस्कार.
आदित्य कौन सर?
Hey Aditya, अरे हाँ बोलो. तुम बोलो छो ना, you are making it right. Most of you guys are holding right. I don't know. Please.
तो सर अपन जो कहले इटा वर्तमान जो RF ट्रांसीवर अछि सेटा मेगाहर्ट्ज रेंज रे होचे वर्तमान बेस बैंड रे होनी.
No. RF transceiver is in gigahertz. RF SoC, what I'm telling you, it will be up to 5 gigahertz. This JD47DR, Xilinx one, that sampling rate is at 5 gigahertz. Hello?
Sir.
Yeah, it is at 5 gigahertz. Megahertz ଯଦି କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁଛ and low frequency then in that case you need an op converter. Before actually transfer it into your RF front end. As I told you, I want the frequency at 3.5 gigahertz. Therefore, if I use a RF sampling, yeah, I have it right. So if I want to let's say suppose use a RF transceiver In this case, actually, if I want to use a general megahertz type of ADC, here you are telling, then here in my RF front end, I need the up converter. I need the up converter, and I will convert the frequency from that megahertz to gigahertz. Because my output, I need it at the 3.5 gigahertz. Therefore, this my RF front end, what actually I'm trying to show, must have the 3.5 gigahertz passing. Because once it becomes the analog signal, it will pass only, right? It will pass. Therefore, from this, when it will convert from digital to analog, and if it will come with a megahertz one, then I need a up converter to make it a gigahertz frequency rate. And after that, actually, I can pass it. So to avoid that, actually, to avoid that up converter, when in my RF front-end circuit, if I put the up converter or a down converter also, and here I need a down converter in that case. In that case, here in receiver side, I need a down converter. When I put, up converter and down converter, my RF front-end circuit will be complicated. And at different frequency, I cannot use it. Therefore, what industry thinks it, up to my base band, actually, I will fix it. I think I had shown that, right? One diagram. Digital board, everything I was trying to show it, right? And so, let's say suppose, my digital band and all that is there in this case, then what actually I will do it, I want to fix these things fixed, and only I will replace it of RF front end one, RF front end. Therefore, I don't want it a up converter, down converter, all that actually, because nowadays, coming to the market fast is very important actually, very important. In next 5 months, 6 months, if you can able to give a baseband to the government of India or to the BSNL, you gone from the market actually. This 5G, for 5G, BSNL has asked for the code, which actually you guys might have read it or might have known it, but they have told it, you have to come with some 20 base stations before you beat it for your tender. And therefore, that is most important actually nowadays to come to the market, and hence do not have time basically to do this up converter, down converter, and all that actually. Therefore, let the processor makers basically make the RF SoC transceiver at high frequency than that of the mid frequency. Just 5 minutes only. Huh? We'll talk 5 minutes only. Yeah, I think I answered your question.
Sir, means the need of mixer will be minimized here.
Need of mixer, right? I told you, you don't need a mixer now.
Yeah.
Mixer will be done by the digital baseband.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so communication people will be not happy with me. I know, but digital mixer mixer will be more efficient and more proper than that of the analog mixer. Therefore, people want edge minimum edge analog. Okay, analog is very complicated, right? And people don't want it. Therefore, let everything be done it in digitally. Minimum things comes to the analog.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other question?
Participants, any further questions you can directly ask to sir, or you can also use the chat box.
Yeah. Is there any questions on the chat box? No.
I think there is no questions. Thank you so much, sir. So actually, it is a very interesting and informative technique, a particular topic.
It is an information type, huh? Yeah, it is an information type actually. I did not go into the much details.
Still, sir, that particular transceiver and that RF SoC, that for the 5G communication, all the VLSI and communication is going to be integrating that one, and also in that it's a informative session, sir. And
yeah, you have to integrate. Then only you can survive in the market.
Exactly.
Unlike that of you, I do not have a continuous cash flow.
Right.
I'm sorry to say it. So the master has no problem. Basically, continuous cash flow is there. But as an entrepreneur type, every day you have to struggle it.
Right.
Okay.
So any questions from participants? If you want, you can ask. If not, then we'll end the session here only.
Good. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir, for the interesting and informative sessions. And if still you have any questions from anyone, so I will communicate you, sir. And thank you very much, sir. So
Yeah, thank
I
you.
will go into
Thanks
the
so much,
session.
yeah, Shashank.
Thank you, sir. So I will continue. Yes,
I'm
sir, I
sorry
will
that, I'm sorry basically got hurried actually and
So
finished it
actually,
quickly.
sir, I know that you are. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Actually, I know your time, and already 2-3 calls and something already from the background. I got it, sir. Still,
Very
thank
nice,
you
sir.
very much, sir. And sir,
Very
now
nice,
we
sir.
can.
In fact, I'm not here actually, so somewhere I am there, so
Yeah.
I had forgotten it actually. So suddenly I remember it yesterday night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At that. Huh? So I'm sorry actually if the talk was not fine also. Okay, thank you
No,
so
it's
much.
fine, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.